Hi, and welcome to this week's Tentative tutorial. My name is Sylvester Hansen, and I will be your narrator/artist for this final part in the character design series. So what I will be doing for this tutorial is simply defining a front, a back, and a side view of the character that I've been spending a couple of weeks designing now. Alongside with that, I'm going to be talking with you about her backstory a little bit, because I felt like that's a part of this character that I haven't really fleshed out. And I felt like that was actually a bit of a shame. It was a missed opportunity. So I'm going to be giving you a little bit of a backstory for the character. Now, as I talked about previously, I wanted to create the story of a senator going to the moon to discuss mining treaties. Something that sounds relatively dry when you say it like that, with a little bit of a sci-fi twist, if you will. So, upon working with this particular character and this costume, I sort of looked at her and went, "That's not a senator." I mean, if you look at the design of the outfit, she doesn't really look very senatorial or very ambassadorial. She looks more like a service provider of some kind, a stewardess or a nurse or possibly a doctor if you want to go a little bit more, but not really somebody who has a diplomatic opportunity within her. So what I wanted to do was actually grab that by the horns and sort of define a character around that. So what I wanted to do was to make sort of a concept for a video game character. This would be a very action-oriented video game, which would take place in the 60s. And it would sort of center around this cult, this sect of people who have disbanded from the Earth to the moon because they find that the Earth is corrupted, very much in the vein of the hippie movement of the 60s, sort of like Woodstock or John Lennon's whole Imagine There's No Heaven thing. So what I wanted to do was to have the Earth be in dire need of helium, as it is currently, and have this character transporting a senator. So either having her be a nurse, a stewardess, or a pilot who is accompanying a senator on this mission of this ambassadorial mission to the moon. But once she arrives, she finds that this particular sect has sort of gone awry. Their whole mission has gone terribly wrong, and they are now, in fact, a chaotic mess of a utopia. The world that they created simply fell apart in front of them, and it is now every man for himself in this sort of confined little space that they have. So all of a sudden, this character has to survive by any means necessary in a very dystopian world, and has to sort of find her way back to either her ship or another ship to go back to Earth. So I wanted to sort of create a starting outfit for her. So while she's still a pilot, stewardess, or nurse, she would look like what I'm drawing here. She'd have this sort of design to her. And one thing that I would really like to do, if I can find the time for it, is actually define an in-game look for her. Like, once you get into the game a little bit more, and once the action actually starts flowing, what will she look like? She will, I mean, this particular outfit is very tight and probably very restrictive of movement, which would not be very good for a character who would have to move a lot, especially if it's an action game. So what kind of an outfit would she then have to look at? And I think that's the interesting part of character design like this, that you go through a set of iterations, and while you're doing so, you actually start ideating upon your chosen design, such as this, and going, who is this character? Why would she look like this? What is the motivation to look like this? And how can I further that design? And that is really one of the reasons why I love character design so much. So this is the character sheet for this character, the nurse, pilot, or stewardess of the ambassador going to the moon to talk mining treaties. So I hope you've had fun and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.